Hello students, today I am going to teach you the English Honeycombs chapter number 1, 3 questions. So before you read, a king has 3 questions and he is seeking answers to them. What are the questions? Does the king get what he wants? So the chapters before you read or the summary that is in the chapter that has given here. Now I will go for the chapter. So the chapter's name is 3 questions. Then part 1, the thought come to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew 3 things. These 3 things were: what is the right time to begin something? What which pupil should he listen to? What is the most important thing for him to do? So these are the questions. Now we will learn that how how the answer to this question he got. So the king therefore sent messengers throughout his kingdom, promising a large sum of money to anyone who would answer these 3 questions. So he sent a lots of messengers, his ministers, his soldiers to find a person who can answer these 3 questions. And he was very worried that what is the answer to these questions. And he was thinking a lot. He was thinking a lot. Many wise men came to the king. Wow, the king wanted that, and many wise men come to him. But they all answered the questions differently. See, everybody is coming to him, but everybody is answering him differently. So it is very much trouble to the king, right? So, in reply to the first question, some said the king must prefer a timetable and then follow it strictly. So the first questions, So the first question is that what is the right time to begin something? To this, some people told that he should make a timetable and he should follow it. Only it is the way that they said could he do everything at its proper time. Others said that it was impossible to decide in advance the right time for doing something. The king should notice all that was going on, avoid pleasure and avoid foolish pleasures, and always do whatever seemed necessary at the time. Yet others said that the king needed a council of wise men who would help him act at the proper time. This was because one man would find it impossible to decide uh, correctly without help from others. The first thing for every action. But then others said that there was some things which could be urgent. These things could not wait for the decision of a council. In order to decide the right thing for doing something, it is necessary to look into the future. These were very much simple English, so I'll just tell you that when the king asked some people, some told to the next question, that is here. We will see here it has written what is the right. Sorry, this one not. Sorry. Which people should he listen to? So here they said the king should have a council. See here, council. So some said that it is not necessary to have a council because some things were very much urgent, and in an urgent situation, emergency situation, he can't wait for a council for decision of a thing. So some people told that no, counselor is not a good option, and the king should prefer to a magician. Here it has written, the king therefore would have to go to a magician. In their answer to the second question, some said that the pupil most necessary to the king were his counselors. Others said the priests. A few others chose the doctors, and yet others said that his soldiers were the most necessary. To the third question, some said science. The third question is we should see the third question. What is the most important thing for him to do? So to this, some said that to the third question, some said science, others said fighting, and yet others religious worship. So everybody is giving differently their answer. As the answers to these questions were so different, the king would not satisfied and gave no reward instead. No reward, sorry. Instead, he decided to seek the advice of a certain hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. So then he tried to go to a hermit. So, who was a hermit? Here it has given the meaning of hermit. Here is the hermit, and it is his meaning. A person who live alone and lead a simple life. Hermit means who lead a simple life and know a lot about life. Okay. Then he went to a hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. So that hermit is very intelligent. He had a lot of wisdom in him. Therefore, some people told him to go to the hermit. The hermit lived in a wooden sorry. The hermit lived in a wood which he never left. So the hermit made the wooden house and he never left the house. He saw no one but simple people. So a simple person was there, and he was doing something. I will. The book is it has given what he was doing. So let's read. And so the king put a ordinary cloth. So I think the hermit would be likely comfortable with a person who is simple. That's why the king wore a ordinary clothes and he hid his identity. Before he reached the hermit's hut, the king left his house. Before he reached the hermit, the wise man's hut means his house, small house made with wood. He left his horse with his bodyguards and went on alone. Without anybody, he went simply. As the king came near the hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his hut. So he was digging the ground for it was given after this, so I will not I am not going to tell you. You will read this one afterwards. He greeted the king and continued digging. So he greeted, hello, hello. He don't know he was a king, but he greeted him as an ordinary person, and he continued digging. The hermit was old and wise and weak. And as he walked, he breathed heavily. So, as he was very old, he was weak, his bones are very weak, and therefore he was breathing he was breathing speedily, very fast, while he was digging the ground. The king went up to the hermit and said, I have come to you, wise man, to ask you to answer 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time, who are the people I need most, and what affairs are the most important. So the hermit listened to the king but do not speak. So the hermit indirectly ignored the king. He went on digging. You are tired, said the king. Let me take the spade and work in your place. So the hermit said, thanks. The hermit is also weak. He also want anybody to do his work. So he said, okay, thanks, you do it. You do my work. Giving the king his spade. Spade means the weapon in which he was digging the ground. All of you know, I am telling it meaninglessly. Then he sat down on the ground. Sorry. Okay, he sat down on the ground. When the king had dug two beds, he stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit gave no answer but stood up. Means this time he also ignored the king. Scratching out his hands for the spade and said, now you rest and let me do my work. Not this one, let me work. But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. 1 hour passed them together. The sun went down behind the trees. At last, the king stuck the spade into the ground and said, I came to you, wise man. He said very he became angry from his body and he said, I am giving his expressions. So he said, I came to you, wise man, for an answer to my questions. If you can if you can give me no answer, tell me so, and I will return home. Here comes something running, said the hermit. So then the hermit said that here anybody is coming from that side. Uh, then we are going to the part 2. So the king turned round and saw a bearded man running towards them. Bearded man means who was completely wounded man, and he was bleeding from anywhere of his body. His hands were pressed around his stomach. Means, as you know in films, if anybody hit your stomach with a knife, then the actor or actress will hold their stomach with their hands like that. The man was coming towards them, from which blood was flowing. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground. So he was bleeding and he saw anybody is there, they will help me, and I should uh, sleep there because I ran here, and I should rest now. I can survive if I will rest. The king and the hermit removed the man's clothing and found a large wound on his stomach. So the king washed and covered it with his handkerchief. Handkerchief means rumal that we tell in our normal life. But the blood would not stop flowing. The king redressed the wound until at least the bleeding stopped. So you know in science, his platelets were very weak, and that's why the bleeding was not stopping, and finally the bleeding stopped when his platelets start working. The man felt better and asked for something to drink. The king brought fresh water and gave it to him. By this time the sun had set and the air was cool. So I think it was the wintry day, and that's why the the man was very tired of running here with the old, and he asked the king for something to drink. And the king gave him some fresh water. Then it became the sun has set, and cool airs were blowing from here and there. The king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. So the hermit and king went towards their hut and slept the wounded person in the bed. So indirectly, the hermit and the king worked as a doctor. They became a god for the wounded man in a difficult situation for the wounded man. Then by this, the son, sorry, the king with hermit, I am reading it from here because I forgot. Hermit's help carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. The man closed his eyes and laid quiet. So I think the man was going to die. No, he was not going to die. I am just joking. But he closed his eyes and he laid down to get some rest. The king, tired by his work and the work he had done, lay down on the floor and slept through the night. So through the night, the king slept. When he awoke, means he woke up, it was several minutes after he could remember where he was or who the strange bleeded man laying on the bed was. So uh, the king, I think this is very much difficult for you. So the king, here, we'll come to here. The king slept, then when he woke up, he can't remember that where he was. Then he uh, saw a strange bleeded man laying on the bed. He also can remember him. So, forgive me, said the bleeded man in a weak voice. So, the bleeded man who was saved by the king and the hermit said that, forgive me. Then, when he saw that the king was awoke, I don't know you and have nothing to forgive you for, said the king. You do not know me, but I know you. I am the enemy of yours. Uh, I am that enemy of yours who throw revenge on you. Means he wanted to take revenge from the king. Then it comes that because you put my brother to death and seized my property, I knew you had gone alone and see that hermit and made up my mind to kill you. And I made my mind to kill you on your way home. So he tried to kill the king on the return of the king. When he was when if the king will be returned, then the king was supposed to die, but he didn't return. That's why he was not rest in pieces. Then it comes, okay, but the day passed and you do not return. So I left my hiding place and I came upon your bodyguard, who recognized me and wanted me. So they hurted the bleeded man and he was the enemy, one of his enemy. Then so sorry, I escaped from him, but I should have died if you had not dressed my wounds. I wish to kill you, and you have saved my life. Now, if I live, I will serve you as as your most faithful servant, and will order my son to do the same. Forgive me. The king was very happy to have had peace with his enemy so easily, and to have won him over as a friend. He not only forgave him, but said he would send his servants and has own doctor to look after him, and he promised to give back the man his property. Leaving the wounded man, the king went out of the hut and looked round for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to give answer to his questions. The hermit was on his knees, sewing seeds in the bed that had been dug the day before. The king went up to the hermit and said, "For the last time, I beg you to answer my questions, wise man." "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still bending down on the ground and looking up at the king as he stood before him. "How have I been answered? What do you mean?" "Do you not see?" replied the hermit. "If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday and had not digged these beds for me, you would have gone away. Then that man would have attacked you, and you would have wished you have stayed, and you would have wished you have stayed with me. So the most important time was what you were doing. Sorry, the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was in the most important man, and to do my good was your most important business. Afterwards, when the man ran to us, the most important time was when you were taking care of him. Because if you had not dressed his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. So so he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. So here the hermit answered his questions. uh, Here were so much easy English, so I am not teaching you. If I was telling in Hindi, then I was telling you, but now it is in English, so I am not telling you. Remember then, there is only one thing that is important, and that thing is now. It is the most important time because it is the only time we have any power to act. The most necessary person is the person you are with at the particular moment. For for no one knows what will happen in the future and whether we met anyone else. The most important business is to do the person's good, because we spend into this world for the purpose alone, for that purpose alone. So here our chapter has been ended. We will take 24 minutes because it is an odd number, and we will take 24 minutes. So we will talk about its summary. So no, we will take some more minutes. So it was written by Leo Tolstoy. Retold means it was retold by him. So in the first, it was given that a man uh, was just he was searching for some answers, and these answers were given by the hermit. And I think I should keep this video here. So thank you. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe to my channel, and please hit the bell icon near it, and please watch my tutorial video every time. So thank you. Happy journey in your future life. Have a good day. Thank you.